How about Donald Trump?
I would ask him, do you see me as a human?
Oh.
Yeah, Stasia, look, as I've repeatedly made clear about my own position, which often gets completely misconstrued, as I think does Julie's, as I think does J.K. Rowling and everybody else, my position is that I absolutely respect people who are trans. I respect people who are trans's rights to fairness and equality and safety. I want trans people to have the same fairness, equality and safety that I enjoy, or that my daughter enjoys, for example. So let's be clear about that. Nothing that I'm about to say is what some people try and frame it as transphobic, right? I'm not remotely transphobic. I am fully supportive of trans people's rights to lead the same life as the rest of us. However, and it's a big however, when it erodes, when the battle for trans rights to fairness, equality in particular, but also safety, when that erodes clearly women's rights to fairness and equality and safety, I have a big problem with that. And no place is this more glaring than in the sporting arena, where you see time and again now biological men who identify as trans, who were pretty unsuccessful competing against other biological men, and suddenly they're winning against women or taking Olympic places from women, etc., etc. And I think the UN came up with nearly 900. I mean, John Oliver tried to ridicule this, but nearly 900 medals around the world, I think in the last year, went to trans athletes in women's sport. This cannot be.
They got this pool tournament. They had a pool tournament, right, where two trans women were competing, and the pool tournament was for nothing but women. It was a women's pool tournament, and the two leaders of the tournament were the two champions that was competing against each other were men. So it boiled down to two men going against each other in a women's competition. They were trans women. That's crazy, right?
Right. It's not fair. It's not equal. As we saw in the Paris Olympics, in the boxing ring, where you had boxers competing who were banned from the World Championships because they had reportedly male chromosomes, and you had women boxers quitting after 40 seconds because they'd never been hit so hard, genuinely fearing they might get killed in the ring. When it comes to this, we are now reaching, to me, not just an unfair and unequal place in this debate, but a dangerous place in this debate. What do you say to that?
Hippopotamus ass. It's a fucking hippopotamus. I think it's a trans man. That's a trans woman, I think. Look at her neck. Oh my God. They're gonna say something stupid. They about to grasp for some straws. They about to gaslight us a little bit. Watch what they say. It's a simple question, but watch what they say.
Joke. I think it's difficult. I think that there's a lot of emphasis being put on trans people in sports specifically. I made it very clear.
Why do you think that emphasis is? Is it because it's abnormal? You get what I'm saying? This is the gaslighting, bro. I think there's a lot of stuff being put on trans people. You get me playing victim. This is the victim card. You get me about to play victim. Like, why do you care?
I'm not here to spit facts or spew anything in terms of like statistics or anything like that. I have my lived experience as a trans person. I feel that there's so much attention being put on to this specific subject because what you guys really want underlying is the eradication of trans people and them to not be involved in any system. Oh my God!
What the fuck? You give me? They gotta play the victim card, and you gotta make it seem like it is. Oh, this is y'all just want to talk about trans people and stuff. That's their go-to. That's their go-to. They don't answer question because they know they're manipulating. These are manipulators. These motherfuckers are manipulators, and it's so. And you get me? Like you say it, you spell it out to them. We just want to know. Now, next thing you say is, you just want to hurt us and you just don't want us to exist and all that. Man, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, you see there, look. Don't look, but look, Stassi.
That is the dumbest argument I've ever heard in my life.
Right, it's just ludicrous. Where have you got that
What a
from?
bad
Where is
representation
anything
of a
I have
trans
ever
person
said?
to speak out for others.
I'm more so referring to
Yeah, I
the
just
right.
honestly.
I have seen certain things that you said in other interviews, Piers, with like my friend Blossom and other trans individuals.
Yeah.
I just feel that the emphasis that is being put
And what was
on
transphobic? What have I ever said that could be remotely construed as transphobic or trans-hating or what?
Look at that stupid ass look on their face. What? What are you talking? What are you saying? The dumbass look, bro. That same dumbass look when they grasping for straws. They're looking. They're trying to find something to anchor to get out of this situation. They're not looking to answer the question because we already know the answer. They don't want to tell us because then they'll agree with us. They don't want that. So they look for straws. Anywhere to look out. Watch. If you talk too loud, they'll say you're arguing with them. Why are you talking so? They'll focus on that. You get what I'm saying? Right now, he's looking for something to grasp on to get out of this situation. You get me? They're not gonna go straight at it. No, they're gonna find some way out. Watch, that's what they're looking for.
To get rid of trans people ever. I challenge you right now. Tell me.
I haven't really directed that at you just from sitting here. I'm more so am just here to say that I feel that the issue that's being pressed is because it's a...
You just directed it at him. What are you talking? You directed it at him.
I think that the issue that is being put on trans athletes is a way to eradicate trans people.
With respect,
Piers, can I interject for a moment?
In the 1960s and 70s, when feminists that came before me set up women's shelters, rape crisis centres, hospital wards, prison wings for women, recognising that some men, not all, but a sizable minority, are a threat to women because sexual violence and harassment is a threat, we weren't told by men, not all of them were pleased, but largely they understood. We weren't told by men, you're trying to erase and eradicate men. The vast majority of men understood why we needed to do this. All we're doing...
That is interesting of a thought. You get me? When feminism started, where was trans women at then? Y'all had all the right in the world to jump on the bandwagon. Hey, don't forget about us feminists. Trans women should have came out in the fucking, the 70s or some shit like that. Like, this is when we should have heard about it. You get me? It's like, where do y'all come from now? Oh, we've always been here. Obviously not. You should have been right on side of them talking about feminism, right? You should have been with the first wave. What happened? Why wasn't y'all with the first? You give me that bullshit, bro.
Which is not an easy mistake.
Men, and you can call them trans women if you like, but men have no place in women's prisons, domestic violence shelters, and sports.
Well, wait a second. Hang on.
Okay, Emily, you wanted to... yeah, Andrew, I'm going to come to you. Andrew, I'll come to you one moment. Just let Emily jump in on what you're about to say.
Women had competed in this pro pool tournament. The tournament came down to the final. The two finalists, Harriet Haynes and Lucy Smith, battled it out. In the end, it was Harriet Haynes that won. What is really, really bizarre, though, is that neither Harriet nor Lucy is actually a woman. So why on earth were they competing in a women's pro pool event? Why? Well, because they claimed to be women.
all of these labels on you. You want to play identity politics. You want to play the victim, but you want it to be treated as if you're any superior. That's not equality. You receiving special treatment that does not make you equal but makes you superior to others is not looking to be included. It's actually making people detest your cause. It's making people think that you are a moron. And the way that you're trying to represent the trans community as a whole by just denying that there's a threat and being delusional about it is not helping the trans people. You're making people look at you from the outside and say, wow, they are out of touch with reality.
I think that the verbiage that you use in this statement is very clear on where you stand on trans issues. I'm going to go back to my original point. You guys trying to take out trans people off boards is a way to eradicate trans people from public.
Shut the fuck.
But we're not.
But
we're
nobody
trying to
has said anything.
That dumbass look like, yep, that's what I believe. Can't tell me nothing else. I'm just a fat ass punk. That's the fuck I am.
Ticks like
nobody,
yourself.
Stacia, nobody has said that. And this is what happens, if you don't mind me saying, what happens, the way that trans activists let themselves down, in my opinion, and you can respond to this, is that you try and shut down perfectly legitimate, in fact, urgently important debate by saying that anyone who dares to question this is transphobic and wants to get rid of trans people. I don't think anyone so far on this panel has said they want to get rid of trans people or anything like it. And yet you keep saying you people all want to get...
Cut that bitch off!